Alright, what's up guys? Today I want to talk about the new update and the new special magic shop. So for those of you who don't know how to get there, it is shop, special, ancient magic shop, and then now we have the ancient coin and the ancient crystal choices here. So basically what this shop is you are feeding Nat 5s to get really good rewards, which makes sense because Nat 5s are really rare and are good rewards in and of themselves. So you can buy a Splendid Blessing, which we all know what those do, pretty fantastic. You can get a choice of runes that you can refresh till you get the choice you really like. Same thing with grindstones. And then you can buy reap stones up to 5 a month. So the fact that they capped reap stones at 5 a month means that's probably not a bad choice. But, I only have so many dupes. I think I have like 10 or 11 dupes over 4.5 years of playing the game. So, on average, I get 2 of these chances a year. And every year they diminish because I get more original monsters. And of course, those are not dupes that I'm going to feed. So this is a very rare currency. In terms of the amount of this currency I technically have to spend on my account, each Nat 5 is 300, so I have 3,300 total currency. So I got to be really judicious on how I spend that because it's limited, it's one time, and I don't want to mess up basically. So I've been giving some thought on what I want to do, and total disclaimer, like math is not my strong suit. So if you see some really obvious errors in what I'm thinking, please post them in the comments and let people know so that I don't lead people astray with my poor math skills for an art teacher. But here's kind of what I came up with. So on my account, I have 32 out of 60 of the Nat 5s that are summonable in the game. In terms of elemental, you can't summon light darks with the blessing. I'm evaluating the blessing right now. So I have 32 out of the 60 elemental summonable Nat 5s, which means my dupe chance on any Nat 5 summon is 53.3%, which is unfortunate because it's a 1 in 200 chance and over a 50% chance that 1 in 200 is a fail. So really, statistically, to beat those odds, I need to summon quite a bit more, right? So my new monster chance is that percentage -1 or -100 in this case. So my new monster percentage chance of summon is 46.7. I went to the internet and found this thing where you multiply instances of success times each other and what it does to improve your rate. So with a blessing, with a chance, 2 chances per summon, my new monster chance goes up to 71.6%. This is the math part that in theory I have correct. So the difference in improvement with a blessing is about a 25% chance improvement. 25% chance, 25% chance improvement over my chance of 46% is better odds by about 50 something percent. So it increases my percentage chance by quite a bit, which makes sense because my chance is 53% dupe, my odds go up by roughly the same amount. So that's what a blessing is worth to me, about a 25% chance improvement on my summons. And 71% chance of non-dupe is way better than 46% chance of non-dupe. So to me, that's already really nice. So let's look at what summons cost. If I were to spend crystals, which are, not an ideal way to summon, but they are the baseline way to evaluate their worth. 7,500 red is 110 summons. 15,000 crystals, 220 summons. 30,000 crystals, 440 summons, which is roughly what I need to summon to quote unquote guarantee a new monster, right? Because I have a 50% chance of a dupe. So I have to do double the summons to get there. That also might be math questionable, but you know what I'm saying. So 30,000 crystals to get a new monster. That's so bad for me. I don't want to do that. But not like you have a choice. I mean, I can not use crystals. I can use crystals for other things, but that's how long it takes on average. So every non-dupe pre-blessing is very expensive and, very awesome when it happens. So of those crystals, if the blessing saves me 25%, which we looked at before, which in theory is correct, each blessing is worth about 7,500 crystals to me in terms of summons, evaluating it as a currency. So that's pretty great, but let's look at the value of all the things you can buy. So a blessing is 275 ancient crystals, or whatever they're called. Yeah, ancient crystals. So 275 ancient crystals equals 7,500 in-game crystals. If you have less of the monsters in the game, this value goes up kind of because you have a better chance of not pulling a dupe. Actually, I think the value goes up the more monsters you have in the game because your dupe chance is higher, but it's always pretty good value, right? All right. So a rune from the shop is 180 of the currency. You get 1 rune. On average to pull from the game, and this is information gleaned from the internets, On average, it takes about 420 crystals to farm a legendary rune. You spend that many on refills. On average, every 420 crystals, you get a legendary rune drop. This is not representative of the value of this rune because you get to choose which rune you spend the crystals on, the ancient crystals, which is really, really, really valuable. So we'll come back to that in a second. A re-app from what I have understood, a re-app in-game is valued at about 400 crystals. So 5 re-apps for 200 of these points is worth 200 crystals. Yeah, don't kill me if you don't trust these things. This is what I found on Reddit and it seemed right. So that's what I'm assuming. Okay, let's go back to the rune. So the rune isn't looking great because this is 200 ancient crystals equals 2,000 red crystals in the game, and you get 5 chances at a new legendary rune. But the thing with this rune is it's like the event rune in that it's not a random, like 420 crystals is for a random rune, a random legendary rune. It could be flat, so 3 of the 6 slots equal flat, so that increases the crystal value to farm something that's not flat. It could be endure instead of violent. I mean, the odds of getting the exact rune type you want is the odds of it dropping in whatever dungeon you're farming. So, you got to multiply this value by like at least 5, depending on the different drops in the dungeon. And then the rune not rolling with the substats you want. You could get a violent HP rune that has all just trash substats, or, a rune that you want with no speed. And so this value escalates really, really, really fast. So it's kind of hard for me to calculate, but this is definitely not representative of the value of this rune. I think it would easily be worth more than the 2,000 crystals, just because of all those factors you mentioned. With each re-app, you're re-apping blind, right? The only thing you get to choose is the rune type and the rune slot, and you get a little bit of control over what stats can roll due to the innate stat. But this, you're not rolling blind. You can pick, kind of like in the event, you can pick the perfect rune, the perfect slot, the perfect substats. The only thing that's random is which stats roll and how high they roll. So if you choose the rune, you want to make sure you have a rune that has the maximum value to you, the minimum amount of RNG where it can go wrong. So like I've said in the previous events where you get to choose your rune, I like the speed slot 2 runes because you're guaranteed max speed. You're guaranteed all the substats you want, and then it's just random which ones they go into. So I'll be definitely keeping an eye on speed runes. I'll be keeping an eye on crit damage runes that don't really care about the distribution of stats that much. I'll be looking at 2, 4, 6 with innate. That way, if something goes horribly wrong, it's a great re-app target with the innate. So I guess what I'm trying to say is with the rune selection, I'm going to be incredibly, incredibly picky because there's no timer on this event. There's no timer on this currency. You can refresh every month. It's going to be slow. It's going to be sort of frustrating if you don't get what you want, but the amount of this currency is finite and rare, at least for me, as someone that doesn't summon a lot. If you have, one of my guildies has, it looked like 20 plus dupe Nat 5 sitting around, maybe even more. I mean, I think he said he had every Nat 5 in the game except for a couple elemental. So he's going to be a lot more liberal with this currency, right? He's probably going to be hitting the blessing quite a bit because, you want to complete the Pokédex. But he might have different standards for runes. He might buy re-apps every time. That's not me. I'm going to be very, very, very careful. So we'll be looking at the runes, the options we can get. We'll be very, very judicious on which ones we take. You can afford to be that because you're not spending currency on the chance. You're looking, you're browsing, you're shopping, and trying to decide what is worth it to you. So that's kind of my basic breakdown. This is my little notes here. I'm definitely buying the blessing because I think that's the best of value, and it gives you more monsters, which I think has a utility value that runes don't. Like, until you have a Diana, it doesn't matter if you have the best Diana runes. You can't functionally do Diana things, right? Which I can't. Until you have a Tiana, there's no amount of farming you can do to guarantee removing will, right? So the functionality of the premium Nat 5s is pretty priceless in the game. So, take this as you will, but I think the blessings are a fantastic use of your currency. So I'm going to always have a blessing on hand. I was actually thinking it might not be worth summoning without a blessing ever again after the next blessing came out, because I thought, why use my summoning currency inefficiently when I know blessings are coming at some point? Now that blessings are always available via dupes, as soon as you get a dupe you don't like, throw it into a blessing, keep summoning as you will, because you're going to have a lot better chance of getting the monsters you want. So my focus is going to be blessings. I have enough dupes where I feel comfortable looking into runes if they meet all those criteria. I don't know that re-apps work for me. I like re-apps a lot, but I don't think that's the most efficient use of my crystals. I'm looking for one or two just fantastic runes that my account has never seen in 4 years that can't really roll poorly. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. The re-ups would be nice, but 5 re-ups, they can go really, really bad really quickly. And I don't want to throw away a nat 5 for 5 things that I want certain impactful things for my account, right? At least with the blessing, if it fails, I can throw it in and do it again, right? You turn the new dupe into a new blessing. And so that's sort of self-sustaining. Actually, they net you 25 crystals every time you throw a dupe at it. So blessing and runes is where I'm going, is what I'm trying to say. Everybody will have different thoughts, different opinions, actual functional, normal human math. So feel free to go for whatever you want, but that's my take on it. And I want to make sure that everybody's really considered the value of what they're getting, because you hit refresh on the runes and you see a rune and your eyes go all starry and you got to have it, right? And it's you got to really consider the value of it relative to other things. So what we're going to do is we're going to refresh my runes and grinds just to see what we get. I don't know that we'll purchase anything yet. We will purchase a Splendid Blessing and summon a little bit and see if we can't pop it. I don't really expect that to happen, but we'll see. So we'll do that summon after we refresh these. So let's do the grinds first. I really have no intention of buying the grinds. And I didn't really mention the grinds much in that last piece, but for me, the most I rolled 2 will speed grinds the other day on a rune that really needed a 5, and it rolled 4 both times. The value in purchasing that poor chance of rolling correctly for nat 5s to me is not worth it. Both of those rolls had no value to me. It already had a 4 on it. I can farm those 4 speed ones all the time. 50% chance to fail is basically what I think of that, right? They look great. When they work, they're great, but the chance of the rune failing is much, much less. The chance of the blessing failing is much less. So I don't intend to buy grinds with these. I'll farm the grinds. I'll settle for purple. If my monsters have 7% HP versus 10% HP, that's what I have to deal with, because the odds of rolling the 10% HP, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 1 in 6. 1 in 6 chance. So if I buy this defense one right here, it's a 1 in 6 chance of it succeeding. 5, 6, 7, a 3 in 6 chance of it failing, which is the same as a purple. That's rough, right? I don't want to mess with that. So we're going to look at these just for fun, but the odds of buying these are basically 0. So none of these are tempting. None of these are tempting. The defense focus is not bad, but it's focus. I'm not spending things on focus. The defense violent is not bad, but again, for the reasons I said, it's not tempting. I don't know. I guess the only thing that would be tempting would be immemorial speed, and even then, I don't think it's worth it. The speed grind on the vampire is nice, but the HP grind on the despair is nice, but not worth the value in my mind. And maybe I'm crazy and wrong, and you guys are like, why is he refreshing things that I've been trying to get for forever? But that's just my take on it. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Just in general, as a category, not anything specifically. We've hit on what you want. So there's a violent switch to attack, so that's really nice. But again, I'm not going to buy it. That's a switch to speed on revenge. So I don't know that we need to keep going. You kind of get where I'm going here. All right, the runes are going to be a little more interesting. So let's take a look. So out of these 3, I like the vampire speed best because it's got 2 offensive stats. It's missing crit damage, and then it's missing HP to be the perfect rune. The flat attack, just the possibility of rolling into flat attack means I'm not buying this. I have an unlimited chance to get the correct rune over the course of refreshing. There's no rush for me, so I don't see any value there. The enhanced runes are both things that might make it onto a monster, but not onto a PvP monster, so no need for that. All right, out of these runes, the defense percentage revenge is the best rune. Yeah, by far. HP crit damage speed, it could roll just perfectly. The fact that it's defense and not HP makes it worse than ideal. The fact that it doesn't have an innate makes it worse. We're 2 off HP roll. We're 1 off the crit damage roll. So pretty good, but not good enough for the currency. All right, these runes. None of these look good to me. Nope. So as a note, we do get an innate on the HP slot too. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for innates. We're looking to roll well. All right, got a minimum speed roll. Got a 1 over speed roll on the shield rune, but nothing worth having here. So, these are all runes that I would roll if I farmed them, even the flat defense slot 4. I think the one that would be the most impactful for my game would be the accuracy will rune slot 6, should it roll correctly. The fact that it has resistance and flat attack means we're already 50% chance of sad times, and the speed being a minimum roll means we need to outroll the average if we do hit on speed. So again, not tempting. All right, we got a crit damage blade rune. That's pretty nice. No innate, speed, attack, and then it's got accuracy, resist. So we really need one of those to be crit rate and the other one to be HP. The slot 2 vampire is not tempting. The fight is not tempting. So the crit damage is the most tempting out of those, but again, it could roll poorly. Like I'm really looking for a sure thing. Some people aren't. I am. I absolutely am, because I guess I'm picky. I don't know. All right, none of these do anything for me. All right, so some decent ones here. The vampire slot 3 with the speed and crit, the max speed, but then we got flat and accuracy. I really need one of those to be crit damage. None of them can be attack, so ideally it would be crit damage, attack percentage, or, if I was building the perfect rune out of that vampire rune, it would be crit damage as the innate, and then we'd have HP and defense, both grindable stats. So not quite perfect. So not what we're gonna do. All right, some even better runes here. This violent slot 5 is probably one of the best runes we've seen so far. Being violent, being slot 5. We only kind of one bad stat with the resist. The accuracy innate is pretty nice. We could roll the speed over and over and over and hit on it and be good to go. But again, I'm not prioritizing slot 5. I'm not prioritizing minimum speed rolls. And this thing will refresh in 3 days when it's the new month. So there's no pressure. Like that's the thing. You see this thing, you're like, I'm never gonna pull that. And you might not. You might never pull a rune that good. But with this setup, I mean, you're looking at 60 runes a month. That's a pretty good field of violent runes to look at in the game. So I'm gonna pass on that one. I mean, it looks pretty good, but it's not quite good enough. The other two are the wrong set. All right, so we get a violent HP slot 2, not good enough substats. A really quite nice vampire rune on slot 3. It's got everything you want. Everything is maxed except accuracy, and there's no innate, which is sad. So that might be one of the best runes we've pulled in terms of efficiency. The rage rune has speed innate, which kind of limits its potential. So if I was shopping for a vampire slot 3, that would be a pretty nice pull. I think I'm shopping for something slot 3. Let me check. I'm just kind of curious if I feel like it might be my vampire, or it might be revenge actually. So where's this dude? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good already. So we're going to go ahead and pass on that. I mean, it's pretty nice, but it's not quite premium. I mean, think just showing how hard it is to pull the premium runes in the shop, where you get 60 shots to look at runes. I mean, the amount of time just to put eyes on these runes over the course of normal playing the game is hard for me to imagine. Just to look at these things playing the game. So I don't want to settle for something that I might get a close something approximately just by farming. So I'm going to pass on that, even though it's pretty darn nice. It is pretty darn nice. All right. So, okay. So a couple other nice ones here. The Blade slot 3 has an innate, has 3 nice grindable substats, and has the flat HP. So the flat HP is what kills it, in my mind. Now we've got our first speed rune. It's an enhanced rune. It's got innate. It's got 3 bad substats, though. The HP, the resist, and the defense. Even if you pull this, the ceiling is so low. I mean, you're looking for a quad roll attack, and then you're trying to bring it back into something usable. So unfortunately, not a usable rune. We're halfway through, and we've already been tempted a couple times. Like, this is a seductive shop, right? Like, there's a lot of things that are going to pull at your resources just because, you see things you've never seen before. So the Vamp rune is the best one here. Resist is the only bad sub. Everything else looks pretty good, but again, we're going to pass. All right. 3 passes there, which is nice. It's nice to not have to stress. You're just like, okay, yeah, those are all bad. So I like that accuracy rune quite a bit. It's only got 1 bad sub. Nice tanky accuracy rune, but we're never going to buy it. The flat HP we're never going to buy. The slot 3 has all the right kind of things, but no speed, so it's not for us. All right. Ooh, look at that accuracy rune with the max speed for Swift. 2 horrible substats and 2 good substats. So that's a total gamble. So we're not going to gamble. Nice little blade rune with no speed. I mean, you might roll resist a lot, but not too bad. Okay, so unfortunately that guard rune has speed locked in. Not that we buy it anyway, but that's always sad. And then the other two runes are not tempting. Down to 4. Okay, so we've got an accuracy revenge rune with minimum speed roll and one bad substat and 2 low rolls. No. The shield rune is also a no, and the nemesis rune is also a no. All right, so let's see what we got here. We got no innates, and the only oh no, we do have an innate. The only one that's somewhat tempting is the focus rune, but we've got that flat HP. We don't want to roll that, and it's focus, so too bad for that rune. Oh, look at that tolerance rune, crit damage with an innate, with max speed, with crit rate. So the only way this could be better is if that flat attack was speed. If you wanted, or no, we've already got speed. If it was HP, I guess. So, or attack, right? That's what we're missing. So in theory, we would miss the flat attack, roll quad speed, and gem in attack there. But the odds of that happening are low, so we're not going to do it. Everything else is not tempting. All right, we're getting down to it. We've got flat, no, and then, not a bad little energy rune, but again, not good enough. And this is our last look at the runes for this month. I don't like the 6. The slot 5 is not bad, not bad. It could roll okay. But again, it's missing things. And then the accuracy has a couple of good things, but then a flat attack. So, the closest we got was that one violent rune. And, it just wasn't enough. Like, I'm going to make this shop, when I buy it, it's going to be something, it's going to be something rare. It's going to be something that fixes my account in a fundamental way, like something that would normally take 30 reapps to even get a look at, that sort of thing. I mean, the reapps I know are already pre-rolled, but we're going to make this into our event rune, right? Every month. We're going to use this currency of the refreshes to just make it the best possible. So that's how I take a look at it. So hopefully that helps you, or you think I'm crazy and you would have bought 4 or 5 of those runes. But, no, I can't afford to. I don't have enough financial investment in the game to justify blowing in-game resources that I get over the course of years and years and years.